Sure thing, dude. Thanks for having me. How's the sound? I was gonna try to do my microphone and everything, but I realized this is just a phone call, and I can't. I don't think my mic.
Yeah, that's fine. You're coming in loud and clear.
Okay.
I mean, you have a big booming voice anyway, so it'll
okay.
It'll fill the. I was a couple months ago. I was talking to Leslie Lau. Do you know her? Have you ever worked with her? And we were wondering.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were wondering because she's got kind of a deep, velvety voice, and I'm Chinese. My father's from Taiwan, and I've got this voice. And we talked about George Takei, and is it why do Asians have such deep voices?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, it's I guess it's not necessarily Asians. It's just different. It's a variety. But the ones with the yummy voices can do a little bit more, or maybe feel more comfortable to do something that's audio.
Right.
More audio heavy industries.
Yeah, that's why I'm in radio. There's a reason why I'm not in TV too, because I have the face for radio. But you're going to be at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom next Friday, the 16th, and then the following Saturday night you'll be down at Foxwoods. A couple of fun casino gigs, although I don't think Hampton Beach is much of a casino anymore unless you like skee ball. Have you played that venue before?
I don't think so. I was curious about the name because it's a mouthful of words.
Yes,
but I don't know. I never been there. I like the fact that it's got some history behind it.
Oh yeah.
It's fun. That's kind of one of the upsides of touring is just being able to visit all these different cities, but to also see just cool old buildings, cool old theaters, things that have been built, for vaudeville shows, things that have been built before electric amplification and times during a time when details mattered much more, and they put in a lot of effort and labor into making small things beautiful all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also a great place if you get there early enough for people watching. It won't be quite in the season yet, but I'm sure there's people up there hanging out. They got they've got the skee ball places, the pinball places. You can buy a harmonica that looks like a lobster claw because it's right on the beach. So,
okay. It sounds like a carnival.
It is. Yeah. Hampton Beach is a carnival for sure. Okay. It's a classic New England beach community. I don't know if you've ever met or worked with Jimmy Dunn, who's a comedian. They call him the mayor of Hampton Beach, and it's just it's very New England. So I'll just give you that heads up right there.
Right on. Yeah, I'm not that familiar, but definitely looking forward to it.
So after you do a run of dates in the U.S., then you head down to Australia. And I wanted to ask, do you have to do you do this in general anyway? I know you work on material and it's different every night because you're tweaking it constantly. But if you go to another country or even say you're not familiar with New Hampshire and Hampton Beach or somewhere, do you alter the set? Do you look into where you're going and maybe alter the set to accommodate the audience there? Or do you just say, I'm going in and I'm going to do my thing?
Yeah, generally I'm just there to do my thing. I always do like to take the opportunity to try to get to know the place a little bit. I try to get an extra day in before or after the shows just to take advantage of the travel and the fact that I'm visiting somewhere new. And so if there is something that I've kind of figured out or learned about that place, I'll try to either at least just maybe start there at some point earlier on in the show just to address that. But generally it's mostly the show.
Right. Well, with your material, I noticed it's not, you don't really have to change it because it's stuff that just human beings in general, no matter where they're from. It just seems to me it's the little things in life that you focus on that you find the humor in. I love your your bit on Sweet and Juicy, your special about the juicer,
Mm-hmm.
and I had that same experience. Like, and I don't want to give too much away, but it's like I'm gonna be healthy. I'm gonna do this, and then you go through the whole process, and you're just like, wow. I had the same experience, but with a pasta maker. So it's I'm gonna make pasta, and it was delicious. It was great, but then it was like like you said, I'm never doing that again. And it's so funny because then you talk about the top of the fridge thing. These are all very universal things. I'm sure someone in Australia and someone in Hampton Beach, New Hampshire, and then somebody in France is like thinking and doing the same thing. And did you start out with, when you started doing stand-up, is that something you focused on? Because I know you like to, you kind of notice the little things in life. You appreciate the little things in life. And is that how you started? Is that something you just kind of grooved into?
To a certain extent. I mean, when I first started, I definitely appreciate, I was kind of exposing myself to all types of comedy that I thought were just great writers, and great performers. So from the very political and sociological, like Bill Hicks, to, one of my biggest influences was Mitch Hedberg, which was always more like this, a little bit more like kind of extra thought, just a little extra moment of thought into very small, mundane little moments. And I mean, I kind of maybe tried my hand at emulating all the people that I admired. But ultimately what I kind of fell upon, or what I really enjoyed doing myself, was just figuring out those little moments in life, the little mundane things that we all kind of experience sort of on autopilot, but never really pause to consider them too much, eventually that's kind of been where I usually go and where I like to kind of explore. I mean, I do feel like ever since my childhood, there's a tendency to go in on small details, whether it was just collecting rocks, going on summer trips with my family, doing, some family vacations. We would go to the souvenir gift shop store, and you can pick some things. And I would oftentimes just get a rock or two rocks and put them into a leather pouch. And, but like for me, these little rocks I would pick, specifically cool ones to me that had a lot of details, like a sort of like a piece of jade, or, where there's layers and there's like twists and turns, and there's maybe a little cave with some geodes in there and little crystal-y structures. And I would just pick up a nice little rock that I bought, that I chose, and I would just get lost in the rock. Or I would go out into the backyard and dig a hole and just explore what we would, get close to the dirt and all the things that come out of there, and find oyster shells and beetles and larvae or whatever. And I always liked, kind of just getting lost in the minutia of things.
I think that's great. And that's being a kid, right? I mean, that's being a kid basically. And it's cool that you've carried that on, that curiosity, you've carried that into your adulthood, and you're able to share it with people, but with more adult things like the juicer, or the printer at work, like all those bits and stuff like that. Yeah. So while you're in Australia, are you going to be able to make it over to? Do you still have family in Taiwan?
I do. I do have quite a bit of family in Taiwan still, and I really do appreciate staying in touch with them or visiting them on a somewhat regular basis. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it up on this trip. We're still trying to figure out if it makes sense to tag the Asia trip along to the Australia trip. I mean, it sort of feels right geographically to just add on to it, but we're going to be in Australia for 2, maybe 3 weeks, and we're going to spend at least a week or so in Asia. And I don't know if I want to come home and reset for a little bit before that, but I do plan on doing this tour in Asia. I do at least a small stretch in Asia for this tour, but I don't know if it's going to connect to that one or not. We are planning to, we're just doing a bunch of U.S. dates at the moment. And I'm planning to tape the special in November, I believe in D.C.
Oh, nice.
So I kind of want to prioritize the time that we have before then to just get ready for the show, and I might put off some of the other international dates for after the show, just so I can kind of enjoy the travel aspect of it more. I mean, basically, you have a little window to continue touring between you taping it and it being released on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
Because once it's out there, then you're done. That hour is done.
You had another great comedian, Ali Wong, direct Sweet and Juicy, and that was 2022, wasn't it? Doesn't seem that long ago, man. Oh, boy.
That's crazy.
Are you going to continue to work with her on this upcoming special?
Yes.
Awesome.
We're really good friends. We're really close colleagues, and we're going to be pretty much going to try to do the same thing with this one. The show's completely different, but the general approach and vibe and my interests are kind of similar. So it'll be a pretty natural extension for if you saw the last special coming into this one. It's not going to be too crazy of a change. It's pretty similar in the vibe. So we're just going to do another one and see what happens.
Nice. Is it important for you to, I guess, what's a good way to put it, to have support from other Asian American comedians or artists? Is that an important thing for you? I mean, you don't talk a lot about, being Taiwanese in your act, except when you speak about your family. Someone like Ronnie Chang will go off on traditions and things like that and talk about the things in the community. But is that something important for you to get, the reaction or get the input from other Asian comedians?
Yeah. I believe so. I mean, I think especially once you start to get to certain levels, I've been doing stand-up for 23 years now, and at the beginning, everyone's just trying to figure it out, and the stakes are very low, and you're just doing open mics, and it's just a matter of really getting into the zone of making it habitual, making this pursuit a daily kind of the daily work, and my whole kind of approach from the beginning was never really to chase the opportunities, but to be prepared for them when they come, and just having faith that it all, the time when the time comes, I just want to make sure I'm ready. But having faith that the opportunity will come when the material is there,
Right.
So basically, just letting my material do the work. So putting in my efforts into material instead of worrying about what show to get on or what agent to get representing me or whatever, worrying about other aspects of the business like that. I've never really been, to me, it's just not something I'm really good at in terms of networking and getting FaceTime in and whatever. And so I was always dedicated to the material, but after you do this, you pursue this for a number of years, you start to get bigger and better opportunities, and at a certain point, the stakes get higher, and the self-doubt can be more consuming. And then that's when I feel like it's very helpful to have a friend or just even have a colleague like Ali to see someone do it, to see someone go through, get to that place and then successfully navigate it.
Yeah.
So there's moments, when we were talking about getting ready for my first Netflix special last time, just coming to terms with the fact that it's happening, that we booked a place. I'm going to shoot it now. Okay. So, and then it's easy to start freaking out a little bit. Am I going to mess it all up, or how is it going to happen? What's going to happen? So there's moments like that where I look at Ali, I'm like, well, she already did it, and I was there for it. I was there for, one or two of her tapings already, and it's just, it's tremendously, helpful to have that, to have a friend or have a colleague, have someone that looks like you kind of go through it and to see that it's possible. And it's absolutely helpful. for me.
All right. Well, Sheng Wang, looking forward to seeing you at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom. I got two final questions. I would like to see, and I don't know if there's anything, maybe you can speak to Ali Wong about this, like a Kings of Comedy tour, but with the best Asian comedians. Like, like see you, Ali Wong, maybe Stephen O. Yang or Margaret Cho up there also. That's something I don't know, as someone who's Asian, I'd like to see that also. It just seems like only recently there's been a lot of Asian comics breaking through, East Asian, South Asian comics, which is a great thing. Because we can be funny sometimes, there's a lot of stereotypes to break through there. And then my final question is, because I was watching Sweet and Juicy, I was rewatching it with my daughter. She is obsessed with your hair. She has the same, almost the same exact hair as you. So she really wants to know what kind of conditioner you use. Your hair. She was so impressed with your hair.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as far as that tour goes, I'm down for it at some point. I think, one of the benefits of being a comedian versus like being a musician or being in a band, it's like, it's just you. The sound check is so easy. The whole traveling process is so easy. You don't have to bring anything. And you don't have to split the sales with 4 or 5 other band members,
Yeah, right.
It makes the touring a lot less lucrative and a lot more challenging when you have, many more mouths to feed. So I think at this point we're just like appreciating the fact that it's just us on the road. But yeah, at some point it would be fun to have more friends involved, because it does get lonelier as you get more and more successful. You become like the only headliner. Then you're oftentimes traveling by yourself. I mean, at some point you can bring an opener with you,
right.
Which helps out a lot. But it's different from the early days where you're just doing stand-up with a bunch of local comics and you have a little community you see almost every night. But I also, I mean, as far as the hair goes, this was just a lucky find. I really had no idea that I had this in me. I was just trying to write jokes, but I didn't know I had this, these luxurious locks. This is something I stumbled upon when I just stopped cutting my hair during the pandemic. And I just use Costco, Kirkland brand shampoo and conditioner, on brand with my jokes.
Yeah.
It's just nothing special. It's just like, I think this is genetics, and partly because I have somewhat oily complexion, which is bad for pimples, but maybe helps out in the hair department.
Thank you for answering that question, I appreciate it. That's so funny that you are a true disciple of Costco, and that's good to hear also.
Value.
Yeah, that's right, man. It's all about value, right? It's all about how you carry it. It's not what brand it is. It's how you wear it, right?
Yeah, how it feels.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Sheng Wang, thank you so much for taking the time this morning. I appreciate it. Hampton Beach next Friday, the 16th, Foxwoods for an actual real casino if you want to head over there on Saturday. And that's always a fun time down there. And good luck, sir. Thank you very much. And good luck on that upcoming special.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for the interview. Appreciate your time, dude. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Same here. Thanks for your time. All right. We'll see you up in Hampton Beach.
See you soon.